Welcome back, everybody, where we are the 1 in 10 dentist who doesn't like that toothpaste.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Good weekend.
It's funny, you always ask me that, and I always have to really think about it. Yeah, I guess so.
And involved a lot of whiskey, maybe.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, it was a good weekend.
Yeah, good.
How about you?
We had the most American thing, I think, in America this weekend.
Okay.
We had like a neighborhood block party, which happens every year, but we had a soapbox derby.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
The shark. Is that one of them, the shark?
Yeah, somebody made a shark. It was great. We have a pretty good hill. Actually, this is how busy our local police are. We got the police chief to come down with the radar gun and was like clocking kids to see how fast they were going. Yeah.
That is good stuff.
One kid got up to like 13 miles an hour. Most of them were around like 5 to 7.
Right.
Kind of parentals put a little brakes on the things because we didn't want them. I mean, you can literally break an arm, but
Of course.
one of the kids.
I haven't done that since I did that when I was a kid. It was I don't know if it was a Cub Scout or Boy Scout thing. I guess a Boy Scout thing.
Yeah.
Soapbox derby. I mean, when you were a really little kid, you'd make the little wooden cars. You ever do that? You put
yeah. But I mean, these
not dowels, but like
should've
this
put the
metal
picture.
poles, whatever.
Should have put the picture up. But I mean, these things were 5-6 feet long, and then
Yeah.
the hill was probably. I mean, the hill, if you went all the way from the top, is probably maybe a quarter mile.
Sure.
So, but
Yeah, no, that's
it was fun.
that's a lifetime of memories in like one day. Like those kids will never forget that.
Especially the ones who crashed.
Well, yes, they may literally be living with the ramifications of it for the rest of their lives.
There were a couple hiccups.
Susie's a little slow. I don't know why. It's just, I guess the Ice Cube truck idea was not such a good one. Just learned what car designers have known for many years. Aerodynamics matter.
Collapsible steering column saved a few lives. Could have saved
exactly right.
Could have saved a few more over the weekend.
Yep.
But sort of, this is moderately large news. I think Google came out. Google with Dell, I might add, are announcing Chromebook Enterprise, which are effectively what it is. It's Chrome OS with Dell hardware. It also works with Dell's workspace software, so it's all that unified goodness, backed by the same SLAs that the enterprise hardware is. But they're Chromebooks with a couple extra enterprise features, and if Microsoft isn't watching this nervously, they absolutely should be.
They definitely are, by the way, right?
Yeah.
And they've known about this for a long time, and have been kind of working on it poorly at first, but that's how they do things. I mean, Windows RT was a response to this in a way.
Yeah.
Windows 10 and S mode is absolutely a response, and this Light OS thing, whatever form it ever takes, whenever it comes out. I honestly, if they don't make something that's just based on Chrome OS, I think they're making a big mistake. But this is something, it's unfortunate because this topic is contentious for some Microsoft fans on our site. But I mean, you can try to belittle Chromebooks as much as you want. You can pretend that it's a niche market, that it's only for education, or maybe for some individuals. Okay, well, it's also for small businesses. Oh, okay, I guess it's also for enterprise now. It's look, there's a good conversation you can have about the pros and cons of Chrome OS versus Windows. You get security and speed and simplicity versus complexity, but functionality and power and different needs for different users, et cetera, et cetera. But there is a place for something this simple. And as we just said, I mean, Microsoft is working on something to better compete with this because honestly, full-blown Windows is not ideal in certain scenarios. So it is in some, obviously. Of course it is.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point in time not long ago where he said, Chromebooks and education, that's not a big deal. Right? Apple's got it. The iPad wins. Microsoft has the desktops. It's whatever. And then, at least in the U.S., it's a pretty big deal. So,
yeah, I mean, so one thing I've been struggling with lately, because working on that programming Windows series, like one of the biggest topics in the history of Microsoft, of course, is the antitrust stuff, especially U.S. v. Microsoft. It's a huge topic. I've read multiple books on it. Again, recently, I've read all of them in the past. I'm even re-listening to one on Audible as I work out every day just to re-stress the points. And the question is, how do you write up something like this? Like, how do you write about something this big and the incredible topics that came out of this?
Yeah.
And I have written an incredible amount that I'm not sure I'm ever going to publish. A lot of it is diatribe because it's just honestly, the Microsoft of the 1990s was a terrible company. They were terrible. They destroyed businesses, people's lives. It's just there's a lot of awful there, and it's kind of a tough thing to even communicate. But what I eventually decided was that maybe I should just stick to the stuff that's pertinent to developing and software and Windows and all that kind of stuff. And there's some interesting topics there, and some interesting stuff. And this is very, very, very similar to the conversation you would have today around Chromebooks. I mean, Microsoft feared that the web and Netscape Navigator in particular could become like this middleware wedge between Windows and its customers and Microsoft's customers. And it's weird, it's, 25 years later, or whatever we are, what was it, 25 years almost. We're still having the same conversation.
Yep.
Is the web a full featured platform that could take over for Windows? And for whatever it's worth, I mean, I think that the very existence of Chrome OS proves that it's possible. Whether it happens, whether some combination of iPad Pro, like you said, or mobile devices of any kind, or the Samsung DeX stuff, Chromebook, etc., can together form a big enough threat to Windows to make Windows obsolete. This is something Microsoft has to be thinking about all the time.
I do wonder. So Microsoft very recently just launched their Windows virtual desktop infrastructure that basically just all runs Windows in Azure. I have to wonder if they're thinking that, hey, maybe the future is just thin clients and we just ship basic stuff.
Yeah, I as I was talking, I was thinking something similar, and as hearing you say it, I guess there's a part of me, because I care so much about Windows, that doesn't want the outcome you're describing, right?
Sure.
Because there is an argument to be made. Rather than investing in something new, rather than trying to make yet another platform that developers and customers are likely not going to embrace, maybe it makes more sense to ride Windows as hard as they can to sunset until it's over and just not worry about it. And over time, as many of their customers will adopt these other platforms where Microsoft already is. Microsoft can very easily improve the quality of their web apps to make them run better on Chrome OS and offer offline support, et cetera. They can very easily improve the quality of their mobile apps on both Android and iOS, iPad OS, whatever, to make them work well on tablet 2-in-1 type form factors that are running other operating systems. I mean, I hate to even have that conversation because honestly, that might make more sense than Light OS, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I don't think Light OS isn't going to happen, but you have to admit, and you probably believe this as well, there's a good chance that Light OS will happen. It will not be a success.
Yep.
And maybe that's the end. They're done trying. Why bother?
Yeah, just go virtualize everything. You can get everything you want, and just a little VM. You just log in, and there's all your stuff. For most people who are connected to the web, you probably don't even notice a difference because everything is running locally, just streamed down to you.
Yeah, I mean, right. That's the other possibility, right? That you're running what is essentially a virtualized Windows instance of, Office.
Yeah,
and you're doing it on some device. It doesn't matter what it is, and to you, the user, you don't know, some combination of 5G networking and I still think of it as VDI. What's the name of this thing? The Microsoft.
It's called virtual. Desktop? I think Windows Virtual Desktop. I think it's
Windows Virtual Desktop. Yeah. So just makes this the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to.
I don't want that to happen.
No more updates, Paul. No more. Your files are right where you left them, which actually probably wouldn't be true because I would imagine they get ping-ponged around.
That's true, but as long as you can find them, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. As long as the index.
Right, I suppose, but yeah, I mean, I hate this idea, but it makes sense.
Paul at a moment of weakness.
Yeah. No,
how much do you think it's going to cost?
Like I try to caution other people not to be bothered by this kind of thing, but it bothers me. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes me feel like one of those guys with like the hand crank on the front of the car, as the as the more modern vehicles are driving by.
Yep, it's that is true. Not a whole lot else went on this weekend, but that's a pretty big Monday morning bombshell. VMworld is this week, so there's going to be a bunch of VMworld related. stuff.
Yep. Yeah. VMware, that's early, isn't it? Isn't it usually September? Or maybe it isn't early.
I don't know.
Maybe it is August.
It is August.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, I don't know.
I meant VMworld.
You got anything else for today, Mr. Paul?
Looking around to see if there's anything obvious here. No, not really. I mean, nothing worth discussing. You?
My wife asked, I don't think I said this, asked if we were getting the Apple Card, and I shut that down faster than a Chromebook.
She's actually, it's funny how she's subtly a bad influence on you. Like,
oh, suddenly?
well, from my perspective, I mean, like I think of my wife as like, as among other things, as being like a hedge against my baser instincts around spending money or doing stupid things, you know?
Well, she's like, apparently, I don't know how she learned about it, but she's like, the card looks so nice. I'm like, yeah, but that's...
She's like a Loki character. She's like just standing there in the sidelines going, do it. You know? It's funny. No, it's good.
But I don't know. I still can't get over locking my financial sanity into a single company. That is
the Apple stuff is actually very much like Microsoft in the 1990s, and it's a little too tunnel visioned for my for my tastes. There are things that I might consider on the Apple side. And I'm not saying that the Apple credit card is a good example, because it's not, but because you have to have an iOS device to do anything with this card, I would never even think about it, regardless of the other facts of it, which include such things as it's not a very good credit card, as far as points and rewards and so forth.
Right.
So
I'm holding out for the Card Pro. That's going to give me the 5% cash back.
Yeah. You'll put it inside the device and it won't come back out because it's too shallow or something. Like it will just disappear inside.
Shallow like the user, Paul? Is that what you're trying to say?
Shallow. I meant like the keyboard, but yes. My lights are flickering, aren't they? They're making light changes. Yeah. This is the first time I've done the podcast on the NUC. And I'm using the same equipment I've always used. Yeah. It's just plugged into this device.
Yeah, you're
flickering.
I thought it was the screen, like, because sometimes you can see the monitor color projecting.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not opening documents, and it's not that. It's literally just changing the warmth of the color.
You know what you need to do is go into the camera and lock the white balance.
Okay.
It's picking up something.
Yeah, it's angry. You think it's automatically trying to...
I think it's trying to adjust the white balance.
Okay.
So.
I'll look into that.
While you do that, we will. That wraps it up for today, folks. Hopefully you were not offended by any of the dental statements made on the show. Have yourselves a wonderful Monday. And if you were offended, that's Paul at Thurrott.com.